My name is Tomy Lorsch. I was born in 1980 in Buenos Aires, Argentina, at the time where Argentina was still a military dictatorship. Family emigrated from Ukraine in the, just about in the time of the First War. The other part of the family, grandfather in concentration labor camp in Nazi Germany, survived, emigrated in '51 with my dad to Argentina. So this idea of survival and like violence in the world has been in my, DNA for a long time. And for the most half of my life, I've been kind of in survival. I left Argentina in 2001 when the economy collapsed completely. You couldn't access your funds in the banks. Left to Germany with $2,000 and a student visa. Eventually built a company, bootstrapped it for 15 years to 400 employees, sold it in 2022. And I thought I was done. I was like, I'm not doing that ever again. I don't have to work. I'm blessed. I'm going to snowboard and surf in California every day. But an old idea from 2012 came back to me, knocking on the door day after day, like, you're not ready. I have a mission for you. And I was like, no, leave me alone. I don't want to. Kept coming every day until I finally surrendered. And I said, okay, I'll explore this with you. I believe that we don't own ideas. Ideas have their own kind of consciousness, and they come all over the world, and they try to find partners to work with.
Was it BlackBerry?
Exactly, something like that. And as I explored this idea, I got more excited and excited. But I didn't know exactly what it was. And in 2020, August 2020, you might remember, a few days before the orange skies, my wife Tina and I are driving our SUV in the Santa Cruz Mountains. We're trying to get to the house of our friend. The police is blocking the road. They're like, no, you can't pass. I'm like, please, begging. And they say, okay, at your own risk, we're not coming to rescue you. So we get to the house of my friend, and he's not there. He's camping in Oregon, off the grid, like a hippie. He doesn't know what's happening. And I just want to save something from his house, like, I don't know, a piece of art, something, a book. And I can't find the key anywhere, looking in the typical places where you would hide a key. And I'm about to break a window with a rock, with a stone. And at that moment, it felt really aggressive, violent. Like I never broke into my friend's home, right? And my wife is yelling like, we gotta go, this is too dangerous, there's smoke everywhere. And I didn't do it. We left. It was impossible for me to imagine that the house would burn down the next day. And 1,000 of my neighbors lost their homes. We got lucky. And it was the first time that I was in a natural disaster. And it was also the first time that climate change, hit my face and say, this is serious. We're not joking, right? So I started thinking deeply after selling my company. With this idea came back. It's like, what does it mean? Why is it so hard for us humans to work together, make obvious decisions? Why is it so hard to cooperate? And I think at the core of the issue is that we don't understand each other, right? Even when we speak the same language, our personal background, cultural, professional, scientific, gets in the middle, right? We talk past each other. Even when we think we're saying this, we're trying to say the same thing with different words, and we just disagree, but actually we are in agreement. So I think AI can do an amazing job. You were saying before, like Google Translate for emotions. You gotta be very present first to feel yourself, to feel others, right? But what if we create Google Translate for human cooperation? What if we can use AI to help people understand each other in order to cooperate and work together? See, most of the software that exists in the world that you use today, whether it's Google Docs, Slack, amazing tools, has not been designed for the purpose of cooperation. It has been designed for collaboration. And people think, oh, it's the same thing, collaboration, cooperation. Actually, it's very different, right? Collaboration is when there is teamwork, when we have a shared goal, right? But what happens when you have 1,000 people commenting on a Google Doc? How do you deal with that, right? So cooperation is when we don't have a shared goal, when in fact we have conflicting interests and point of views, and priorities and agendas. And that's what I call software for cooperation. So at complexchaos.ai, we're stealth, nothing much to show yet. We're pre-product, just raised a few $1 million from amazing investors who believe in this mission. Our mission is to help humanity cooperate at scale by using AI first to help people understand each other, and then building consensus, problem solving, group decisions through any channel, any language, any time of the day, guided by AI. So we're looking for organizations that are solving important problems, multi-stakeholder environments. So if you work in some of these organizations, come to me. We're happy to partner with you to design use cases around your problems. And yeah, we're looking also for talent. So hit me up if you're interested in this mission. Always looking for amazing people. So I don't know if you have time for question or
No,
that's it?
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, very, very beautiful vision of what you guys are building. While Lana gets here and gets set up, we're gonna do slides, right? I'm gonna, reflect on what you just said, because I've had a lot of personal experience while running these large decentralized volunteer groups, right? First, my experience was during pandemic, when it was like 1,500 data scientists around the world. And that was my first encounter with understanding that common language doesn't equal common speech. And the encounter was actually, I jumped on a call, and it was like 50 people trying to solve one simple thing, very descriptive thing. And we started talking about it, and everyone seemed to talk about almost like it in different ways, and no one could understand each other. And it was so fascinating because I kind of like made a step back, and I realized what was happening, and there was no solution for it. Like the moment I would chime in, I would bring in my own biases, my own culture, my own language, and all of these things that I come in with. So yeah, if there was an interface to bridge that common speech, it would be awesome.